Good evening again, all. It is the evening after the morning before. Once again, time for our match review. Arsenal defeating the Premier League champions Liverpool 2-1 this morning. Talk about a smash and grab victory if ever I've seen one. That is the type of performance that you can pencil away in the record books for potentially the wrong reasons. But look, I think there's a lot of positives to take out of it, a lot of things to like about the performance. There are a couple of things that I disliked, and I'll also talk about them as well. But overall, we got the points and we took our chances and we came away with a victory against a team that has been recently crowned Premier League champions for the first time and League One or Division One champions for the first time in 30 years. They've been great this season, Liverpool, so I'll make some very quick remarks about them first of all. They were fantastic all season. They were fantastic this morning in parts. First half, they looked very slick in the first 25 minutes, and the whole second half, they pounded us with pressure and wave after attack after wave after attack. It was in between, like in the centre of the park, between the boxes. They were beautiful all night, but it was behind their own lines in their own box that they buggered up. A couple of mistakes made, first of all by Virgil van Dijk and then Alisson Becker the second time around for the two goals that were well taken. And then going forward, they lacked a little bit of cutting edge that they've had so much this season. I didn't watch their game against Burnley on the weekend, but from what I saw, what I was told and what I understand is that they could have had 5 or 6 in that game. So for us to come away against a team and really, we weren't really tested too much in the second half, which was good. There was a free header for Salah that I can remember in the second half, which he probably should have put away. But outside of that, we looked pretty good defensively as well, which was something to take you out of the game. Never mind that we're under the pump. Let's talk about the statistics of the game. 69% possession to Liverpool, 24 shots on goal to 3. And of the 3 that we had, Smoke and Joe probably should have scored at the end to make it 3 shots on target as well for those 3 goals. But overall, we took our chances that we need to, and never mind the fact that the stats were completely skewed against us. You're going to have games like that moving forward, and if anything, that's going to teach us a little bit of resilience, which is what we need as well. It's something that Arteta looks to be building into the slide bit by bit. Talking about the game in general, first half, something that's worrying me still is the slow starts. I mean, the first 20 to 25 minutes, we didn't do a whole lot with the ball. I can vividly remember David Luiz trying to play these long balls over the top and just hitting no one, going nowhere. And it felt like Rob Holding next to him got that in his head too. I'm going to try and find a few blokes long range, just passes that are just spraying absolutely nowhere. Xhaka got caught on the ball as well, which led to a chance for Liverpool. So there's a couple of those little niggly things that we need to get out of the game. And those slow starts is what's going to hurt us. We started slow against Leicester as well at home. I mean, even though the back end of the first half, we could have had 4 goals against Leicester. This morning we were slow in the first 25, got punished, and we never really sped up again. We didn't really get into the game after that. The one thing I will say, though, which was great, the chances that fell away were taken. Lacazette, I feel, as a number 9, out-and-out number 9, has been fantastic of late. Superb up front in his hold-up play, coming in, getting the ball, and then opening the play up for his midfielders to then look for those wider balls, and then also the overlapping fullbacks and the other 2 guys playing up front with him when it is a front 3 with Aubameyang and Saka or Pepe, whoever it might be. The first 20 minutes, though, they didn't even look to touch the ball. I can't even remember Pepe and Nelson touching the ball in the first 20 to 25 minutes. But we took our chances, as I mentioned. Lacazette's been great as a number 9. And then Reece Nelson, I feel like you remember the Fergie's teams back in the early 90s and the young brigade that he had with your Scholes and Barts, Beckhams, and all those players coming through. The young, I feel like we have got that sort of potential at the moment with our young players. When you look at, and I mentioned this a few times over the last few weeks, but our guys like Willock and Nelson, Saka, Martinelli, he's out injured at the moment, but with a lot of our kids, Maitland-Niles, we've got the huge potential for these kids to push on. They look fantastic. And I felt like Nelson's one of those guys that he's probably, let's say, the back end of that youth product. He's got a little bit of work to do, but tonight he took his chance absolutely beautifully. He looked good in front of goal. When he took it, he got the ball at his feet, looked up, bang, put the ball away, and that's what you want. And overall, he had a lot of hurry as well. Lacazette was excellent, not only to score, but to set up that goal. So some positive signs in that we took our chances. Moving into the second half, look, we didn't have a whole lot of the ball going forward. As I mentioned, Smoke and Joe Willock probably should have scored in that 89th, 90th minute to wrap it up. But by then, I feel like we'd done enough defensively. We didn't really get in too many positions where there was anything clear cut. We didn't get carved open at the back too much. As I said, Salah had a header which popped over the final man, and maybe he didn't expect too much. And there was also one where he did a little bit of shimming at his feet and almost chipped it over Martinez, I guess. But he was good enough for that as well. And Martinez made a great save off a ricochet towards the end where he sort of went with it with his right hand and just parried it away. It was an excellent piece of work. That was very late on. So there's huge positives to take out of it. You've got to take out the resilience factor, the fact that we've actually managed to hang on, backs against the wall, back foot. It was a training ground run, as the commentator said. It was attack versus defence. For the most part of that second half. I think the possession stats were upwards of 80 to 90% for Liverpool. But never mind any of that. We hung on, got the result, and more than anything, that's going to give us a lot of positives moving forward for the game against City. We have to be positive after that performance. What an FA Cup semi-final at Wembley against City with no one there is going to look like, I don't know. It's a Saturday night fixture in England, is my understanding, 7:45 p.m. kickoff. A nice early 4:45 a.m. for us on Sunday morning. So how that's going to look, I don't know, and how it's going to feel. This morning it felt strange again, and maybe that's where Liverpool lacked a bit of that cutting-edge second half to actually get it right in the final third. But to our credit, we actually knuckled down and got the job done as best as we could, and we hung on to a valuable 3 points. It keeps us in the race for that Europa League spot. My understanding is there's a bit of money involved if we make the Europa League, and it might help us a little bit with transfers. Arteta's comments after the game were hugely important. I felt basically a bit of a not so subtle message to the board that he doesn't know what the fundage is going to be moving forward into next season. But overall, we need to invest, and we need to invest in top quality. I feel like we've got the shell, we've got the core, we've got a lot of great youth, and we've got some experienced guys. To me, like Mustafi, who's stepped up, Xhaka stepped up, Aubameyang stepped up. That's why those guys. Xhaka started today, but Mustafi will come straight back in for the weekend. And so will Aubameyang, ready for the Manchester City game. Danny Ceballos probably as well. So we've got the youth, we've got the experience. We need a couple of big name signings down the spine, I think. Another player in centre half, another defensive midfielder. But look, that's a story for the off-season. We'll talk about transfers then. Let's look to City. And again, we need to start fast, take our chances in that game, but I'll do a big preview of that one coming up on Saturday. But more than anything, let's revel in the win. We've beaten the champions, who are now 3 losses for the season, so they are now easily the 4th best side, and if I do some research, we'll find out, but that's more losses now than Invincibles, Jose Mourinho's first Chelsea team, Arsenal's league-winning side of 1991. So yeah, they've sort of, the wheels have fallen off a bit, but you can't blame them to an extent with the way that the back end of this season has sort of come and gone for them. They've come back, they've won the title, and now it's just filling in games before the end of the season. But let's be happy, let's be positive, and move forward to the next game, which is Manchester City, then 2 more Premier League games next week, and then fingers crossed, an FA Cup final. As I said, it's not the same, but let's get through the rest of the season, and hopefully with a bit of luck, we'll have people at the grounds come the start of next season. Come on, you Gunners.